I will request Professor Dr. Pradeep Joshi to kindly welcome our speaker, Ms. Shalini Pasi, and our chairperson, ma'am. So,
good morning to all. At the outset, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our guest for the day, Ms. Shalini Pasi. We are thankful to you for accepting the invitation, for being here for this webinar, and you are going to speak today on the very relevant topic, artwork during the times of the pandemic. I must brief you in just 2 minutes that this webinar is being organized under MIT Directorate of Fine Arts, Applied Art, Performing Arts. This has got MIT School of Fashion Technology and MIT School of Fine Arts and MIT School of Performing Arts. So students and faculty members of all the 3 institutes, which are primarily the creative institutes of MIT University, are here. Besides it, there are the students from other campuses, say Lucknow, Mumbai, and Jaipur, are also going to join this webinar. As of now, I see approximately 460 students are already here who have joined this thing. As MIT, we keep on doing a lot of innovative activities. We do a lot of seminars, conferences, talk shows, but this situation of the COVID-19 has given us another opportunity this time when till March we were operating in the offline model in the university. Then suddenly the things got changed. We moved to the online model. Now we have moved towards the remote learning and remote teaching model. And all our teaching and learning is happening this semester with the online mode. We started in the month of April the series of the webinar where we wanted that the students and the faculty members who are at home by force, not by choice, they should keep on interacting with the industry and the art world and keep on updating themselves with what is happening. So we've got very good response of this series of the webinar, and eminent artists have agreed, fashion designers have come and talked to students and faculty members. They have encouraged them, they have motivated them, and they've advised them that what should they do in this current time, which is a challenging time for everyone. So all the fields are facing the challenge because when we are operating and offering the professional programs, the students are looking for placements or they are looking for becoming a professional artist or professional designers. So one of the key focus always when we are doing such activities is to get industry and the faculty closer to the industry or the art field or the fashion field. So in this current scheme, we are very happy once again, Shalini, that you have come here and agreed to talk to students. And as students, I must say that we must say thanks to our honorable chairperson, ma'am, and it was her initiative and to talk to Ms. Shalini, and then we are organizing it. And ma'am has always been a great support and provided the encouragement for all the activities of the our schools despite of her busy schedule. So ma'am, we are thankful to you on record for keep on providing us such opportunities to get the eminent people on board for the institute. And ma'am, as you instructed, I have told all the students of ASFT and ASFA and ASPA faculties also to join this and get benefited. And Shalini, as I discussed with you, that in the end, there will be the students and the faculty will open it for them and they will interact with you impromptu with the questions. So students is one of the golden opportunity for you to interact. So do ask relevant questions in the end. And with this, I end my talk, and I would like to request our honorable chairperson, ma'am, to say a few words and initiate the webinar today.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Thank you very much. And thank you, Smita, as well, for your opening remarks earlier. Shalini, a very, very warm welcome to Amity.
Thank you.
Shalini may have been speaking about her coming to campus for a couple of months, and then the lockdown happened. Yeah. So she's finally here and you can see her. And when we do open up, we'll invite you again, Shalini.
That'll be a pleasure, definitely.
Students and maybe somebody from your MASH Foundation can come and see their work and see what good work they're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Shalini, very, very warm welcome. We're really looking forward to your presentation today.
Thank you.
I know these times have not been easy for anybody, but being in the field of fine arts and fashion, we are regularly looking for new tools. How to teach the students, how to keep them excited. Our students are amazing, So thank you to all of you. We almost have 500 students who have joined. I'm very, very grateful that you all have all joined and taken out the time to hear Shalini and all of us today. Thank you very much to all our students. It's very important, Shalini, to get student support as well at this time. And they have absolutely been wonderful. So we are always looking for new tools, new ways of working forward. So maybe we can do stuff with the foundation eventually.
Absolutely.
We also have our own foundation. We can all work together and see how we can take the arts forward, how we can make it more exciting for our students to see what they want to achieve. Eventually, of course, we want good jobs for them, or somewhere, wherever they want to do their masters or post-graduation, they should be able to achieve whatever they like. So Shalini, I'll leave it to you now. And then let's go on with question answers later on.
Yes.
I don't think so. The students want to wait anymore and they want to hear.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Joshi, for having me here. Thank you, Ms. Bagai, and thank you, Ms. Johan. I'm truly humbled and honored to know the number of students that have joined in. I am absolutely delighted to be on this platform. So today we are going to be talking about art world during the times of the pandemic. Art is a form of healing and recovery. Art provides solace and therapy during the times of stress. It helps safeguard mental and spiritual health. It reduces barriers between people, cultures, and languages. Art can spark social change and awareness about the destructive facets of economic development. The art world and the leading institutions have responded in various ways to the pandemic. In compliance with the government's guidelines, the art world and the leading institutions have responded in various ways to the pandemic. In compliance with the government's guidelines, public spaces and institutions had shut their doors unprecedentedly. This prompted organizations worldwide to shift their programs online. The art world has since adapted to the online measures as an alternative to physical exhibitions. Today, we're going to talk a bit about those alternatives that has been provided by the various institutions. But before that, I would like to highlight a few things in the art world. So, art during difficult times. History has shown difficult circumstances have often produced enthralling and awe-inspiring works of art. I'm instantly reminded of Pablo Picasso's masterpiece, Guernica, considered one of the most powerful and moving anti-war paintings in history. Picasso painted the monochrome work in response to the bombing of Guernica. The work was acclaimed for bringing attention to the Spanish Civil War. Closer to home, Rabindranath Tagore's painting Bharat Mata is an aesthetic marvel while encapsulating anti-colonial Swadeshi ideas. Are you able to see the images of the work? Yes, now the images are coming up. Okay, perfect. So I just spoke about the Guernica, which is the first image, and the second about Bharat Mata. And Somnath Ho's experience and documentation of the 1943 Bengal famine affected his aesthetic sensibilities. It fueled his fervor to highlight the sufferings of the people through his work. Similarly, Chitta Prasad Bhattacharya's stark documentation of the famine in his ink drawing and prints are considered seminal works of art today. Artistic and creative endeavors help us understand the world around us. It is important for us to utilize the access various resources that the art world facilitated. So, Somnath Ho's experience and documentation of the 1943 Bengal famine affected his aesthetic sensibilities. It fueled his fervor to highlight the sufferings of the people through his work. Similarly, Chitta Prasad Bhattacharya's stark documentation of the famine in his ink, drawings, and prints are considered seminal works of art today. Artistic and creative endeavors help us understand the world around us. It is important for us to utilize and access various resources that art world has facilitated. The pandemic, art world adapting to the pandemic. The pandemic affected the international art fraternity owing to the rapid rise in cases, with the measures that were taken to control its spread. With museums, galleries, and art institutions suspending operations, exhibitions were either rescheduled or shifted online. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, Tate Modern, the Museum of Modern Art, Getty Museum, to name a few, have opened their collections online. The upcoming Gonzo Biennale, which was slated to take place in November of this year was also shifted to 2021. A number of institutions have utilized the platform of Google Arts and Culture to showcase their collections and the ongoing exhibition in ways that recreate the experience of viewing them physically. Google Street Features enables one to view the works as they are displayed. Museums including the Guggenheim Museum, New York, Museum d'Orsay, Paris, Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, National Museum of Modern Contemporary Art, Seoul, and the Uffizi Gallery in Florence have made their collection available on this platform. Digital platforms such as viewing rooms were launched for fairs to provide a platform for participating galleries. Art Basel's viewing room were live in March and recently concluded their second edition. Frieze Viewing Room was launched with an online edition of the New York Fair. Major galleries from around the world presented works by established and emerging artists in virtual exhibition spaces. Viewing rooms are an important demonstration of the alternatives that the art fraternity can explore. Digital platforms allow for a continuation of events that offer a safe alternative. Digital projects also gain widespread attention during these times. The project Rembrandt in Southern California is one such example, which is completely online. The website is dedicated to works by Rembrandt that are currently housed in the Southern Californian Institution, a joint venture between the Hammer Museum and J. Paul Getty Museum, and the LA County Museum of Art, the Norton Simpson Museum, the Timken Museum of Art, and the website has become an essential resource of in-depth study of the artist's works. Museums and art institutions in India have adapted to online alternatives to present their exhibitions and collections. The digital platform In Touch was created in collaboration with Kemol Prescott Road, Mumbai, Experimenta, Calcutta, Galleries Pass, New Delhi, Green Art Gallery, Dubai, Grey Noise, Dubai, Nature Mort, New Delhi, Photo Inc., New Delhi, Gallery Ski, New Delhi, the Third Line, Dubai, and Vadera Art Gallery, New Delhi, as a platform for showcasing online exhibitions. Each edition of In Touch will feature exhibitions from the participating galleries along with collateral programming conducted digitally. Museums like the National Gallery of Modern Art, New Delhi, the Museum of Art and Photography, MAP, in Bangalore have also showcased their collection online. MAP's extensive collection is being hosted on Google Arts and Culture. Institutions have also launched initiatives that lend support to artists and creatives during these times. Initiatives like Experimenta Lab seek to function like an online artistic incubator. I would now be delighted to give a brief introduction about the initiatives of my foundation, the Shalini Pasi Art Foundation, and the online platform MASH. SPF endeavors to create a new paradigm for artistic expressions in India by supporting, educating, and encouraging new experimental practice that foster a healthy ecosystem for the arts. MASH is an online platform that explores the intersection of art, design, craft, and fashion in an accessible and engaging format. It features artists and creatives from around the world, in-depth articles, and a dedicated podcast on Indian history and contemporary art. In the light of the ongoing restrictions, we decided to host an online exhibition, Living the New Normal, that explores the extraordinary yet the incongruous moment that we are experiencing today. The exhibition includes works by Anita Dubey, Shilpa Gupta, Pushpamala N, Mithu Sen, and Prajakta Potnis. Part of the proceeds from the exhibition will go to Concern India Foundation. The exhibition has been hosted on our website, MASH India website. Along with the ongoing exhibition, we also hosted a series of webinars where the artist and the curator, Dr. Lokhandwala, and I discussed the artist's work. We have had a webinar with Pushpamala N, Anita Dubey, Prajakta Potnis, Mithu Sen, all of which are available to view on our Facebook page. Stand with Bengal. MASH, along with Inapuri and the Kolkata Center for Creativity, have organized a fundraiser, Stand with Bengal, to support the communities affected by Cyclone Amphan. Net proceeds from the sales of the works are donated to Ramakrishna Mission, Kolkata. The artworks are on display on our site MASH India as well as Imani Art website, Calcutta. The fundraiser brings together a love for art and supporting a good cause. Our latest initiative, MASH Podcast, is MASH Podcast. Podcasts are an engaging medium akin to a radio show that one can listen to alongside other activities. MASH podcasts feature in-depth episodes with leading figures from the art fraternity and the artist, as well as episodes on Indian art history. The podcast seeks to educate diverse audiences about our rich artistic history while keeping them informed about our current landscapes. The podcasts are in addition to regular content that we feature on MASH, which includes interviews with artists and creatives. Our mission in establishing the foundation and its digital arm was to facilitate outreach to different audiences and encourage art education for all. Conclusion and the final thoughts would be, despite the widespread reliance on online modes of exhibiting, the shift from physical exhibition has not been easy. One of the main issues that arise through digital initiative is the question of accessibility. This is especially pertinent in the context of India, where not all institutions may be well versed with technology, forcing them to shut shop or delay their programs. Despite the focus of the government on digital initiatives, it is a goal that still needs time and extensive support for equitable access. The shift to digital platforms has shown us a new medium of presenting artworks, allowing one to view full exhibitions. The outreach by digital platforms allowed for new audience to be exposed to art. It gave audiences the opportunity of accessing artwork-related information and exhibitions all in one place. The new innovative development in the art world has shown us a truly global audience. It is important we take this opportunity to foster a larger global outlook and network. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shalini. That was wonderful. I think that gave the students a good brief on what all you're doing. You've done some very interesting works with MASH, I must say. I like the online exhibition that you just showed us. That is the new way forward.
Yeah, that is the new way forward because we are reaching larger audiences and we are able to it's also more cost effective as well, than putting up a physical exhibition, which is not possible these days because of so many, health issues. So,
right. I also viewed a couple of online exhibitions. I don't know, Smita, maybe later on you can introduce it to our students. Now they can see even international museums very easily online. So I think it's very good for the students to do a tour of that as well.
Yeah. So I've mentioned, I can also, like I've mentioned in my talk as well, some of the list of the museums.
Yeah, that I saw that. And also later on, Shalini, if you think you want to curate something for the students that they can see, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do we have any questions? Can we go on to the panel and see what questions we have?
We have a few questions. So with your permission,
I just want to see the questions. Where are they? In the gallery view, Smita?
Yes, ma'am. I have a few more questions with me with students that sent. So if you permit, may I start with those questions?
Yeah, please. Smita, yes. Please go
ahead. The question for you is advice to fine arts professionals regarding how should they approach gallery and plan for displaying their work in the current times of COVID-19?
Yeah. Smita, I have a recommendation. Sorry,
yes.
Shalini. It'll be nice if the student wants to come on and ask the question.
Okay, ma'am. We can
because I think it'll be interactive. Shalini, are you okay with it? I think
yeah, perfect. That'll be amazing.
Because we have so many students online.
That'll be amazing, yeah.
Wherever it's possible for the student to come online, they should ask them.
That as well.
So for the first question, yeah. Students can approach galleries by sending their portfolio works as PDF via the gallery's registered email. Budding artists and designers can use Instagram as a platform for displaying their work. Instagram has proven to be a powerful tool for engaging wide audiences. Planning a show in these times, one has to take many precautions and must adhere to the safety guidelines. While working in the gallery space, therefore, we should make the most of the online platforms to maximize the visibility of our work. So that would be my advice in these times, yeah.
I think we'll have to check with Rahul. Rahul, if the students can come on, or because they're not panelists, they cannot ask the question?
Just a minute, ma'am.
Because there's so many students, it'll be tough for you to pin each student then, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Smita, go ahead, ask the
Just a
next
minute.
question.
First question is, why can't art reach masses like technology did when it was the first primitive media for communication?
So the thing is that you know, especially in difficult times, everybody, you know, the attention goes to like the health services or living a better life. Art somehow has taken a back seat in terms of so people actually should give it more importance, because as you said, this is the first primitive media of communication. Like the cave paintings were actually ways of showing, you know, stuff or communicating. So I guess, you know, it's going to take all of us time, and it's also not an easy medium for people to understand. So an artist's work, how you interpret it is also very personal. And yeah, why can't art reach to masses like the technology? So it's totally depends. If a person is hungry to learn, they will reach out themselves. But as institutions, as it is our duty also to reach out to them. So it's a two-way street, I guess.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next is, how can I get access to virtual art fairs? Can you please list a few good websites?
So the Frieze website is there. Then there's Basel Art, and a lot of the masterpiece just happened. I think these are by invitations, but if one can reach out to them on their details, and then they would send you an invitation. One can also view them. A lot of these art fairs are now doing a lot of webinars, a lot of online. They're putting this stuff on Instagram as well as their websites. So I think that's the way to go.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, what are the opportunities for character designing in India?
So this question is from, I think, animation, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I think that's really interesting, because there was a point where I actually wanted to develop I wanted to start giving lectures on art history, as well as, so I wanted to develop sort of a cartoon who would do that. And the costing of the animation was just phenomenal, you know, a good quality animation. So I feel that the opportunity is really amazing, because I think our Indian designers are very creative and very hardworking. But the cost of actually animating a character, the cost of that episode was just phenomenal for even, you know, if we were to do for art lectures, was really not, it was not feasible. So I think this is the way to go, because animation just makes it easy. And we need really good quality animators, because that's the level we need to take, you know. I think if you do your best, there's a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next question is, do you think digital exhibitions are the way forward for artists and galleries?
So
Yes.
nothing compares to actually viewing the art in person. I think that experience is just completely different and immersive, you know. But if one doesn't have an option, and so of course digital is way forward for a lot of us who can't travel. We are getting more access to international and global shows, which we never had before. Museums which never put out their complete collections are actually putting out a large chunk of their collections online, which was not like that before. But always, I mean, viewing art in person, I think nothing can beat that.
How can we help people to instill a sense of art learning and history?
So basically, it's a lot of study, and one should do back and forth. So if you continuously read, say, about art history, maybe you might find it boring, but you can, if you pick up different time periods, then it might be more interesting, because you're viewing a certain images from a certain period, and then you can go to a different time period. So that makes it more easier and interesting. And people have to be exposed, educated. Art has to be more accessible and more interactive. And I think a lot of the artists now are doing projects which are immersive. So you can actually go and walk into a space which is done by an artist and actually experience the whole thing, including the sound, the lighting. So I think immersive art is something where people can really experience, and we can draw more people in.
I think the next question is very interesting, Shalini. It says, what is the scope of art during COVID time?
So as I mentioned in my talk as well, that I think some of the best art was created in difficult times, whether it was, people. So basically artists, they draw from their pain or they are inspired by certain difficult moments in their life. And I think this is a difficult moment for a lot of people. It's a difficult time for people all over the world. And I think if they can channel the negative energy to create something, I think this is the best time. One is in isolation, one is not affected by different energies. You don't have to go out, you're at home, you're with yourself, you can look in, learn, you can create amazing things because you're not being bombarded by outside stimulation. And I feel that especially during COVID times, there's a lot of panic. So as soon as you say the C word, it's like it stirs up an emotion, which is actually a very negative emotion. So I actually don't use this word. I use generally the pandemic. I just simply use pandemic, or I actually don't like to use this word because it actually stirs up negative emotions. And I feel the artists today, the artists, designers, and the creatives, this is a time where you can really rethink and create, create something really fantastic and use this time really well.
Great. Thank you, Shalini. Dr. Joshi, would you like to ask anything? Dr. Joshi, can you hear me? Smita, is there any more question? Then I can ask. Smita?
Yes, ma'am, I'll just check.
I would like to identify 2 students. I think 2 would be sufficient.
Yes, yes. Can we ask Mr. Swapan Bhandari? Mr. Swapan Bhandari has a question.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
So,
Shalini, I'm Swapan here. I'm working here. I think you remember me. Swapan Bhandari here. So I would like to share one thing about you to the students who are with you today, that how today Shalini Pasi became a so big art promoter and doing so significant job. But I would like to say many students in student life think to be entrepreneur, or they want to dream to do something like Shalini. So I would like to remind how to do it. So I remember her first painting in Arushi Arts Harvest Show, where I was also part of it. And Shuni Chopra was encouraging her. And she started by doing painting. And that I've seen her journey, the beginning. And I would like to request Shalini if she can manage to show one of her paintings. Thank you, Shalini.
So thank you, Mr. Bhandari. Actually, my journey started much earlier. So I used to paint. So I've been painting since I was a child, and I topped in All India and CBSE as an art student. Okay. I couldn't go to art school because, my family wanted me to get married and stuff like that. So I was actually practicing art. Like that was my, that has been my passion all my life. So I've actually been practicing, and I work with a knife, with palette brush, charcoal, different mediums. I also do sculpture. And I had my teacher was Mr. Khanna at our modern school teacher, and we would have artists like Manjeet Bawa come in, and he made a portrait of me once. We would meet BC Sanyal, and I would go to Triveni for classes. So my journey actually began much earlier than what Mr. Bhandari knows. And at one point I wanted to also study architecture, but I couldn't because I was not good in maths. So I have a great keen fondness for design as well. So the thing is that for me, so now because you asked me this personal thing, so for me, I work from Monday to Sunday, and my work is my passion. You know, my passion is my work. So whatever I do, it's not work for me. So like if I'm painting or I'm researching about anything, it's not work. It's what I do. It's my hobby. Yeah. So if the students can sort of, say that, whatever research work they are doing, if they are learning something, that's actually not, they should not see it as work. Like my sir would tell me to submit 10 sketches and I would make like 20, 25 sketches, and then
Okay.
pick the best one out. So there's a lot of hard work, and people don't realize that being in an art school is as difficult as going to a medical school.
Yeah.
Which please trust me, if you put in the amount of work that actually needs to be put in, and then that's how you can achieve great things. And there's so much that the creative people can do. And so my journey has been like constantly working on myself, and I try to learn a few things every day. And I feel whatever I learn, whether it's in the field of art or design or architecture, it can all be combined. Like we have students here from animation, from architecture and design. All these fields are so interrelated. I mean, an art student should know about architecture.
Yeah.
An architecture student must read about art, because art brings soul to architecture. An
Right.
artist must understand how his work should be placed in a physical space. So the problem, I mean, it's not a problem, but what I feel is that most students say, I'm an artist and I don't want to know anything about architecture. But you must read about architecture, because your art will be housed in a building ultimately, and that will dictate how your artwork is viewed and how it is lit. So all these things are so related, and everything that you learn is never wasted. So I spend my days learning, years learning, and I feel everything I've learned comes to use sometime or the other, or it makes you a better person. So I
Great,
hope,
Shalini.
thank
Great,
you
Shalini.
for taking me back. I don't have those works with me.
Yeah.
Don't have the images offhand, but I can share it with the students. And yeah.
Thank you,
And
Shakti.
and my students, all the students hearing, I think, please Google and see Shalini's collection and see her house. It is amazing, and I'm sure Shalini made a day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Swapan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shalini, thank you so much. My next question actually had to be to you, that what is the one advice you would give the students? And you've actually shared that with them already.
Okay.
During these times, they should try and make the most of every situation, I feel.
Yeah.
Been very good. Our students have been attending classes and doing the most of whatever they can.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to expand your horizon, to think beyond. So we don't only have fine arts students on today, Shalini. We also have our fashion students listening to you,
Okay.
and some
Amazing.
performing arts.
Yeah.
So, this was Dr. Joshi and my idea that we should introduce everybody to you.
Absolutely.
And, you shared something very important of these times. Dr. Joshi, anything else you would like to ask Shalini?
Ma'am, I have a question. Shalini, can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Yes, passion.
I think so that your topic is very much relevant. And as I mentioned in the beginning, that webinar series has started because all of us were in the situation of this COVID-19. So now I would like to know that the students who are from fine art or the fashion, all of them are creative students. So
Yes.
what should they do besides the studies which we are doing at the moment online to further enhance their creativity? Because they've got ample amount of time, and all of them are creative brains exactly. So what is your take on what should they do? How should they further run up their skills?
So my advice to students on these times are basically view as many exhibitions as they can. There's so much available on different platforms. So continuously viewing exhibitions, like the art students should look at what the fashion designers are doing. The fashion students should look at art websites, because they can fashion should draw inspiration from art, architecture, and so the thing is, each of them should look at different aspects, not just what they've been looking, not have a tunnel vision. That's what I'm trying to say. So to be able to look at other disciplines and take inspiration from there. There's so much available online that they can view from different collections. Also, it is important to keep doing different things, and so that the mind gets used to doing a certain kind of thing. And also keep a journal. Also use your energy for the things that you actually, maybe you're creating something. So conserve your energy. Don't waste it in things. Don't let things like, the regular news bombard you with, fear and tension, because that kills creativity. Any sort of tension, like even through the news, we have all these negative things that come on to us. The negative energy actually just kills the creative energy. And also I think meditation, if they can, a lot of it is available on different podcasts. Affirmations, meditations actually really help they've really helped me. A lot of the creative people do a lot of affirmations and meditations. I don't know if the students are familiar with it, but actually to creatively channel your inner creativity, this is amazing. I once visited artist studio, a very prominent artist, I wouldn't mention his name, and he said, I'm working. So he made me wait like 10 minutes. And then I went into the studio and he was on his back. And I said, you told me you were working, but you're like on your back. He said, no, I'm working. I'm thinking right now. So I'm working. So because a creative person is like, you know, even when we are not like physically working, our mind is still working. So I guess your mind has to just be trying out new things. Even if it doesn't work, it could work later on. Like we all know Leonardo, he made these drawings of all these machines which never worked, but they're masterpieces in themselves. He was a Renaissance man because he could do so much. So we have to not just stick to what we are doing. In fact, even I didn't know the fashion students are here, but we all know Marc Jacobs did a tie-up with Takashi Murakami, and that was one of the most successful. So a lot of the artists and the designers, artist and designer, they do collaborations, and I think that's really interesting. I think collaborative work is something one can learn from the other, be inspired. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Shalini, that's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are we all audible? Dr. Joshi, you're not audible.
Yes, ma'am.
We just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the university. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you could finally share your views with our students. And maybe we'll call you again soon. I like the idea that you want to do art history. Maybe we'll invite you for something like that in a smaller group.
Yeah.
Dr. Joshi, you can look into it and see if you'd like to invite her in a smaller group for art history. Because I like the sequence of the way you shared. It was important to take the students back to see where these artists came up with their major work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. These are interesting times. I hope you're going to be safe with your family, Shalini.
Thank you so much.
Take care of everybody. And I'm sure our students are keeping safe, hopefully, and their parents are safe and their families are safe. Make the most of this time. Do whatever you can, like Shalini recommended. Go to many virtual galleries, go through museums. Everything is available to you. Those times are gone where you could say, oh, I cannot go to New York City to see the Met. But the Met is there with you online now.
Yeah.
So this is the best opportunity you have. There is no time for cribbing and saying, oh, mama, I cannot travel. I cannot see the world. I cannot afford it. That's not true. Everything is at your doorstep. This is the time for all the students. Dr. Joshi, I leave it to you. Thank you so much, Shalini. I'll let
Thank you. Thank you, Divya.
Dr. Joshi?
I would like to express our sincere thanks to Ms. Shalini for being here and giving a talk to students, very interesting talk. And I think so, I am very sure that students will certainly Google and find out more about your foundation and more about the work which you have done, and will be benefited a lot with your advice. And once again, I would like to say thanks. And as ma'am has said, that we look forward for your visit to campus as and when things improve and we are back to campus, all of us. So we look forward and further to it. I think it was a good that we interacted. We keep on looking forward for advice from the industry members and the artists for updating our syllabus and the program structure and the course curriculum. Because at MIT, every year we keep on updating our syllabus based upon what industry in the art field or the relevant field is looking for. In our case, in fine art, it is the art field, or it may be fashion. So we look forward for your suggestions in terms of what academic inputs.
May I just interrupt?
Yeah, please.
I'm so sorry. So I also wanted to mention, and I forgot earlier, MASH, we also have a mentorship program where I can take on students, like a bunch of students, and mentor them. And also we have an internship program that we are offering. So we have students from Brown and UPenn who are currently doing research for us, and I mentor them personally. So if that's something, then we can always talk about that later when it's so interesting.
No, I must say that we have got internship in every summers with the students. It's mandatory for them to work along with the artists or under the mentorship. So probably it's very good that we have come to know. I think so we'll be in touch with you.
Yeah.
And we would
Thank you,
like
sir.
certainly some of these students should work under you. So I think so I'll discuss with ma'am also, and then we will come back to you about it. And we definitely want that we should initiate this relationship and take it further from here exactly. And
Thank
I
you.
would also like to say thanks again to our Honorable Chairperson, ma'am, for taking the initiative and helping us in organizing this webinar. Ma'am, we are thankful to you for being there for all the initiative which school is taking and for the growth of the institute. Thank you, Smita, for helping in coordinating. And I would like to thank students. I must say, ma'am, they were more than 500. And I was getting the messages that as per the Zoom is 500 is a maximum. So some people have messages that it has reached to maximum level, so we can't get in. So they were sharing their screen exactly. We can't come in exactly now.
We'll have to organize one more.
Yeah, so it has
Yeah,
been
sure.
it has reached to the highest level as such exactly participation. So we look forward for such more presentation in the future, ma'am. We look forward for your continuous